My beloved souls, when the enemy fears your rise more than anything, you know you've already won. They have lied, manipulated, stolen, and schemed. They have done everything in their power to bury you, to erase you, to make sure you never hear this message. But here you are, and hearing this is their worst nightmare. Why? Because once you know the truth, their control is over. They were never afraid of your weakness, they feared your power. They knew that the destruction of their system would not come from armies or weapons, but from the awakening of the chosen ones. And now, that awakening is happening right now, right here. You hearing this is no coincidence. It means you were meant to. It means despite all the traps, manipulation, and attacks, something inside you refused to stay silent. You survived, but survival was never the goal. Survival is just the beginning. Now it's time to rise. I want to take a moment to thank those of you who have supported this channel through Super Thanks. Your donations help us continue creating empowering content like this, and I am deeply grateful for your generosity. Whether you choose to donate or not, I appreciate you being here, listening, and awakening with us. Now, as we dive deeper into this truth, I invite you to share your energy and commitment with the community. Drop the number 777 in the comments if you are ready to step into your power. If you are ready to rise and disrupt the system that has tried to hold you back. This is your moment. The time has come, and it's time for you to make your stand. So, what will you do with this moment? Will you let it fade? Or will you act? Because the war is real. The time is now, and the ones who tried to control you are already running scared. It's too late for them, but it's just the beginning for you. Let's rise together, God's chosen ones. They beg that this video never reaches you. It's their death. Number 1. They prayed you never woke up. But here you are. Have you ever wondered why the enemy works so tirelessly to break you, to wear you down, and to keep you trapped in doubt? Why did they choose you as their target? Was it simply because you were just another face in the crowd? Or is it possible that they saw something in you, something extraordinary that you couldn't even see in yourself at the time? They spent years breaking you, manipulating you, and trying to lead you astray, and still they failed. They watched you from the very moment you entered this world, studying you like a predator tracking its most dangerous prey. To them, you were never just another person. You were a threat. Even before you understood your purpose, they recognized the light within you. That's why they moved against you before you ever had a chance to rise. In Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, we are reminded, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. The enemy's war against you wasn't physical, it was spiritual. Have you ever felt as though the weight of the world was pressing down on you? Have you felt drained, not by what you can see, but by what you can't? They infiltrated your life, planting seeds of doubt, surrounding you with deception, draining your energy in ways you couldn't even recognize at the time. It wasn't just about breaking you physically, that would have been too obvious. No, their attack was far more sinister. They played with your mind, twisted your perception of yourself, and made you question your instincts, your worth, and your very identity. You were bombarded with whispers of lies. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. You don't have what it takes. But think about this. Why did they send others, people you trusted, people you loved, to reinforce those doubts? Wasn't that a sign of how deeply they feared your potential? You see, John chapter 10 verse 10 tells us, the thief does not come except to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. This is exactly what they tried to do. They wanted to steal your peace, destroy your confidence, and kill the light within you. And yet, despite all their efforts, you're still here. But why? Look at the lives of those who came before you. Jesus was hunted from the moment he was born, yet he rose to fulfill his purpose. Malcolm X, a man who fought for justice, was silenced, yet his legacy still shines. Nikola Tesla, a genius whose inventions were from the world, faced opposition at every turn, but his contributions continue to shape our reality today. And Joan of Arc, a young woman burned at the stake, rose from the ashes as a symbol of courage and defiance. Why were these warriors attacked so fiercely? Because they, like you, carried something of great significance. Now think about your own journey. How many times have you felt like you were carrying a burden that no one else could see? How many times did it feel as though the betrayals cut deeper? The losses were heavier, and the battles were more personal than they should have been? It wasn't a coincidence. They targeted you because they saw your power, even when you couldn't see it yourself. Romans chapter 8 verse 37 affirms, "Yet in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." You survived, and not just survived. You thrived. You became something stronger, something more resilient, something they never saw coming. And that's where they made their biggest mistake. They thought suffering would destroy you. But suffering doesn't destroy the chosen ones, it forges us into warriors. The storm they built to wash you away only purified you, stripping you of everything that was never meant to stay. The fire they sent to consume you only made you the fire. Now the question is, what will you do with this knowing? The truth isn't enough. The war isn't over just because you woke up, it's only beginning. Now that you see through the illusion, now that you know what you're meant to become, the real battle begins. They will try again. They will try to convince you that this awakening is just a phase, that you should go back to the way things were. But can you go back? Isaiah chapter 43 verses 18 to 19 says, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it?" Once you wake up, there's no going back to who you were. The old you, the doubting, the hesitant, the uncertain, has been left behind. And what's left? The warrior they always feared you would become. Let them panic. Let them scramble to regain control. Because now, as they watch in horror, you are the force they can no longer contain. This moment, the moment they prayed would never come, is already here. And now it's too late for them. But for you, it's just the beginning. Number 2. They couldn't steal your power, so they tried to make you hate it. How many times have you been told you were too much, too intense, too loud, too passionate? Have you ever wondered why people who can't match your energy always seem to be the ones trying to bring you down? What if, instead of your energy being a problem, it's actually the very thing that they feared all along? They called you too much because they couldn't match your power. They knew they couldn't take what was divinely given to you, your energy, your presence, and your gifts. So instead of taking it, they did something far more insidious. They tried to make you reject it. They planted seeds of doubt so deep that you began to question your worth and your purpose. You see, 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 tells us, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear but of power and love and self-control." This is the essence of your being. The power you hold is not meant to be hidden, not meant to be dimmed. But how many times have you been told to shrink yourself, to quiet your voice, to hold back your brilliance? How many times did they make you feel like your very gifts were a burden rather than a blessing? Albert Einstein was once ridiculed by his peers, called an outsider, and dismissed as eccentric, yet his genius changed the course of history. Tesla, who gave us the foundations of modern electricity, was mocked and disregarded during his time. Even Joan of Arc, a young woman of immense courage, was condemned by those who couldn't understand the power she carried within her. And Jesus, from the very beginning, was denied and rejected by those around him. What did they all have in common? They carried something divine, something that others couldn't understand or control. Why does this happen? Why do the strongest, most gifted souls often feel like outsiders? Why are the most insightful minds mocked or misunderstood? It's because this world is built to reject what it cannot control. And you, as one of the chosen ones, are not meant to be controlled. But here's the truth they didn't want you to see. The very things they tried to make you feel ashamed of were the things that made you powerful. They called you too much because they couldn't possess your energy. They mocked your deep thinking because they couldn't comprehend your mind. They belittled your emotions because they didn't understand your depth. They laughed at your visions, your ideas, your passions, not because they were foolish, but because they were beyond their grasp. In Romans chapter 12 verse 2, we are urged, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. They wanted to make you conform, to shrink into the mold they created for you. They wanted you to doubt your uniqueness, to silence the very things that made you powerful. But you know, deep down, that conforming to their world would never bring you peace. The moment you stopped apologizing for who you are, the illusion they built around you began to crumble. Think about how often Mahatma Gandhi was told to conform, to stop speaking out, to stop standing up for what was right. He was mocked, ridiculed, and faced constant adversity, but it didn't stop him from leading a nation to independence. How about Frida Kahlo, who was told to cover up her imperfections, yet she embraced her flaws and turned them into her greatest work of art? Her life and art broke barriers that others were too afraid to even touch. And don't forget Oprah Winfrey, who faced constant rejection in her early career, told she wasn't TV material, yet became the most influential media personality in the world. All of them had one thing in common: they refused to shrink to fit into the world's narrow view of what they should be. The conditioning you faced, the pressure to silence your energy, to dim your light, was all part of their plan to break you. But you didn't break. You're waking up. You're starting to realize that everything they told you was a lie. You were never too much. They were just never enough to handle the force of your power. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 1 tells us, Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. You were never meant to hide your gifts. The world may not understand your strength, but that's because it was never meant to. The second you fully embrace who you are, the power they tried to suppress will be unleashed. So now, ask yourself, what will you do? Will you continue to shrink, to hide the power within you just to make others feel comfortable? Or will you finally step into the greatness they never wanted you to claim? Because the moment you do, their game is over. You will become unstoppable. Number 3. They built a system to keep you blind. Have you ever wondered why it feels like you're running in circles, constantly moving, yet never getting anywhere? Why does it feel as if, no matter what you do, you're always trapped within invisible walls? What if I told you that the greatest trick they ever pulled was convincing you that you were free, when in reality, you were caught in a system designed to control you from the moment you were born? They didn't need chains to keep you confined. They didn't need walls. Instead, they built a prison without bars, a system so well designed that you never even realized you were trapped. John chapter 8 verse 32 reminds us, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. But what if the truth has been hidden from you all along? What if everything you thought was a choice, every path you've walked, was just another form of control? In every corner of society, they created the illusion of freedom. Schools didn't teach you how to be free. They taught you how to obey. The media didn't tell you the truth. They fed you just enough lies to keep you docile, comfortable, and unaware. The world didn't encourage you to discover your true self. It pressured you to fit into a mold that serves their agenda, not yours. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says, Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. But how many of us have conformed without ever questioning why? They created what we now recognize as the matrix. an illusion so powerful that most people never even question the structure around them. Go to school, get a job, work until you die, and in between, stay distracted, entertainment, fake news, mindless social media, endless noise, anything to keep your mind occupied, anything to keep you from sitting in silence long enough to think. Why? Because in silence, you might see the illusion for what it truly is. Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20 warns, asterisk, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This is exactly what the system has done. They've made you believe that the path they laid out for you, the one that keeps you stuck in debt, stress, and conformity, is normal. They've convinced you that this is the only way to live. But is it? What if you were never meant to live this way? You were told to go to college, to take on student debt, and then work a job that pays just enough to survive, but never enough to escape the cycle. They told you to follow the rules and conform, but those very rules were designed to shrink you. They wanted you to fit into a small box where you'd stay obedient, manageable, and controllable. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 7 tells us, asterisk, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So why were you never taught to seek wisdom that would truly set you free? Think about the greatest minds in history. Nikola Tesla, who was dismissed and ridiculed, yet gave us the foundations of modern electricity. Mahatma Gandhi, whose ideas of non-violence and peace were initially rejected by many, but eventually changed the course of history. Nelson Mandela, who was imprisoned for fighting for justice, but whose spirit could never be broken. All of them faced the same thing, a system that tried to suppress them, silence them, and convince them they were too radical to make a difference. And yet, they transformed the world. Now think about you. What if the system didn't want you to discover your true power because they feared what you would become? What if they worked tirelessly to keep you from asking the right questions, from looking beyond the surface, because they knew that if you did, their control over you would slip away? 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 5 tells us, asterisk, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. The true war isn't with armies or weapons, it's with control over your mind, over your thoughts. They needed you to stay in the dark, to remain ignorant of your own power. But now, you are waking up. Think about it. Why does a system that claims to work in your favor reward silence and obedience while punishing those who question? Why does it glorify mediocrity and penalize those who dare to think differently? Why does it promote distractions over deep thought, fear over courage, and dependency over self-sufficiency? Matthew chapter 6 verse 24 reminds us, asterisk, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. The system wanted to make you serve it, but you were never meant to. Now that you see through the illusion, now that you understand the truth, they fear you. They fear your awakening, because the moment you truly realize your power, their system loses its grip. They've tried to keep you blind, but it's too late. Luke chapter 4 verse 18 says, asterisk, the Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. You were anointed to wake up, to see the truth, and to break free from the chains they put on your mind. So, what will you do now that you see the game for what it really is? Will you stay silent, obedient to a system that only seeks to control you? Or will you finally rise, step into the power that they feared you would realize, and become the force they can no longer suppress? Because this moment, the one where you wake up, is happening right now. Number 4. Your pain was never a coincidence, it was a targeted attack. Have you ever wondered why your hardest battles always seem to come at the worst possible time? Why every time you tried to move forward, Something or someone came out of nowhere to knock you back. What if the pain, the betrayals, the setbacks were never random, but part of a much larger plan? What if those very moments of hardship were meant to stop you from realizing something powerful about yourself? They didn't come after you because you were weak. 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 tells us, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." You were never weak, chosen ones. You were a force they feared. You were attacked because they saw something in you, something unstoppable, something that terrified them. They knew that if you ever woke up, if you ever understood your true potential, their control would be over. So they hit you before you even knew you were in a fight. Nothing in your life was a coincidence, not the betrayals, not the losses, not the moments that nearly broke you. Every hardship, every disappointment, every trial placed in your path was a calculated move to break you before you discovered the strength that lies within. And they didn't wait until you were fully grown to attack. They started early. Because they knew that a chosen one who recognizes their power is the most dangerous thing in this world. John chapter 10 verse 10 tells us, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly." Your suffering wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to make you question your worth. But here's the truth. Those attacks were never about making you fail. They were about preventing you from seeing that you could never truly fail. Because once you realize that, once you step into your power, nothing can stop you. Look back now. Can you see the pattern? Every time you tried to rise, there was something or someone that knocked you down. Just as you were about to reach your breakthrough, a setback appeared to make you question your worth, your direction, your purpose. But what's even more painful is that the attacks didn't always come from strangers or enemies. Sometimes they came from the people you loved most. Family, friends, those you trusted. Why? Because the enemy knew you wouldn't expect it. They knew that if they could get to you through those closest to you, they could plant wounds so deep they would keep you doubting yourself. This is how they work. They use the ones closest to you to plant the deepest wounds. They turn love into a weapon, trust into a trap, and comfort into captivity. Psalm chapter 55 verses 12 to 14 says, "For it is not an enemy who taunts me, then I could bear it. It is not an adversary who deals insolently with me, then I could hide from him. But it is you, a man, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend. We used to take sweet counsel together. Within God's house we walked in the throng." Do you see it? The enemy uses those you least expect to create doubt, to manipulate you, and to weaken your spirit. But here's the secret they never wanted you to know. The fire wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to forge you. They thought the pain would break you. Instead, it made you unbreakable. They thought the betrayals would turn you bitter. Instead, they gave you clarity. They thought the losses would empty you, but they only cleared the way for something greater to take its place. Matthew chapter 17 verse 20 says, "For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Your faith, the strength you gained through your pain, became your foundation. Every single thing they threw at you, every attack meant to keep you down, only made you stronger, sharper, and more unstoppable. Look at history. Jesus was hunted and persecuted before he could fulfill his divine purpose. Nelson Mandela was imprisoned before he could change the world. Malcolm X was silenced before his voice could reach millions. Joan of Arc was burned at the stake for speaking truth, but her legacy continues to inspire. The greatest forces for change were always attacked first. The system always tries to break the chosen ones before they realize they cannot be defeated. And you're no different. So now you have a choice. Will you continue to see your pain as proof that you are cursed? Or will you finally see it for what it truly is, a testament to the fact that you were always meant for something greater? Romans chapter 8 verse 28 tells us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Your pain wasn't in vain. It was part of your preparation for greatness. Now the game has changed. They spent years trying to break you, but they failed. They spent a lifetime trying to make you forget who you are. But you remember, and now you have two choices: stay where they tried to leave you, or rise into the power they always feared. The choice is yours, but know this: the moment you choose to rise, nothing can stop you. Number 5. The war is unseen, but the damage is real. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try to move forward, something always pulls you back? Have you ever wondered why, when you're finally stepping into your purpose, you feel completely drained, overwhelmed, and uncertain? Could it be that you're not simply facing bad luck or misfortune, but an entire system designed to prevent you from realizing your full power? The truth is, the battles you fought were never random. They were part of a carefully crafted plan. A war you didn't even know you were in. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12 tells us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places." This war is unseen, but the damage is real. You weren't just fighting people. You were fighting an entire system built to drain you, to keep you small, to suppress your power. Think about it. Every time you began to gain momentum, every time you made a breakthrough, there were people, energy vampires, sent into your life to drain you, distract you, and plant seeds of doubt. People who pretended to be friends, mentors, lovers, only to take from you, leaving you empty and questioning your worth. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23 warns us, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." They knew that if they could get to your heart, they could stop you from reaching your full potential. But here's what they never expected. You see it now. You see the truth. The attacks weren't random, and they weren't your fault. They were part of a systematic effort to break you before you realized that you were never meant to be weak. They wanted you to believe that the exhaustion, the fear, the doubt, it was all natural. But it wasn't. It was carefully orchestrated. It was spiritual warfare. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4 tells us, "For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds." Your fight was never against mere circumstances or difficult people. It was against an unseen enemy trying to keep you from realizing who you really are. Every time you tried to rise, the attacks came stronger. But now you know. They weren't meant to break you. They were meant to keep you from stepping into the power you've always had. Oprah Winfrey faced years of rejection and ridicule early in her career. She was fired from her first TV job and told she was unfit for television. But despite the setbacks and attacks on her confidence, she rose to become a global media mogul and philanthropist, showing the world that those challenges only served to sharpen her resilience. Similarly, J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a worldwide phenomenon. She faced rejection after rejection, but never let the attacks break her spirit. So now the question is, will you let them keep draining you? Or will you take back your power? The moment you decide to rise, the system loses control, and those who thought they could break you, they'll start fearing what happens next. Number 6. They tried to replace you, but no one can take your spot. Have you ever noticed how, when you started embracing your true self, the very people who once mocked you suddenly started imitating you? How many times have those who once doubted you now started mimicking your energy, your style, and your mindset? At first, they ridiculed you. They called you crazy. different, impossible to understand. They thought you were nothing special. But the moment they realized they couldn't break you, something shifted. They began to try to be you. Why did they do this? If you were truly insignificant, why would they be so desperate to copy your every move? Why would they study you, trying to figure out what makes you so powerful? Romans chapter 8 verse 19 tells us, asterisk, for the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. Your presence, your energy, is a force they can't replicate. They hate you, not because of what you do, but because of what you are. Unstoppable, divine, chosen. They copied your words, your confidence, your movements. They tried to wear your essence like a mask, thinking that if they could imitate you, they could possess your power. But here's the truth they'll never admit. Real power cannot be faked. Acts chapter 4 verse 13 says, asterisk, now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were uneducated, common men, they were astonished, and they recognized that they had been with Jesus. Power isn't something you can learn or steal, it's something you are born with. It's your divine essence, and it cannot be replicated by anyone else. They may try to wear your mask, but they'll never carry the same power you do. They can study you for years, but they'll always come up short, because the strength you carry comes from something beyond their comprehension. John chapter 14 verse 12 reminds us, asterisk, very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these. Your power isn't something they can borrow, it is something you were given. And that terrifies them. Think about it. If you were truly insignificant, why would they go to such lengths to imitate you? If you were nothing special, why would they constantly be watching you, studying your every move? It's because they know your presence shifts energy. Your spirit disrupts deception. Your words awaken others. And that's why they tried to replace you. They thought that if they could steal your essence, they could control the magic that flows through you. But here's the truth. A counterfeit will never carry real power. Isaiah chapter 55 verses 8 to 9 says, asterisk, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways and my thoughts than your thoughts. No matter how hard they try to replace you, they can't. No matter how much they mimic, your authenticity will always shine brighter. No matter how much they wish they could be you, they'll always be left on the outside looking in. Beyoncé is a prime example. She has faced numerous imitators throughout her career, many who tried to replicate her moves, her energy, and even her style, but no one can match her presence. She is a force unto herself. And no matter how much others try, they can't duplicate her impact. Michael Jackson, too, faced countless imitators who tried to mimic his dance moves, his style, and his music, but no one could ever carry the same magic he had. The world knew, just as it knows about you, a true original can never be replaced. So let them copy, let them pretend, it doesn't matter, because what's real will always outshine what's fake. When you step fully into your power, they'll finally have to face the truth. They were never meant to stand where you stand. You were chosen, and nothing can take that away. Number 7. They control through fear. Have you ever noticed how every time you're on the verge of stepping into your power, fear creeps in, making you hesitate? Have you ever wondered why, despite your strengths, you often feel paralyzed by the thought of judgment, failure, or rejection? What if the only thing holding you back isn't your lack of ability, but the fear that has been carefully placed inside you to keep you controlled? Fear has always been their weapon of choice, not force, not strength, but fear. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 reminds us, asterisk, for God gave us a spirit not of fear but of power and love and self-control. They never needed chains to hold you down, never needed to lock you away. All they needed was to make you afraid. Afraid to fail, afraid to stand alone, afraid to speak up, afraid to be seen for who you truly are. Because as long as fear rules you, they don't have to control you, you'll control yourself. Think about it. Every great force in history that disrupted the system wasn't physically stronger than the oppressors, they were fearless. Malala Yousafzai became an international symbol of courage after surviving an assassination attempt by the Taliban for advocating girls' education. Despite the danger, she continued to speak out, showing the world that true strength comes from standing firm in your truth, not from fear. Similarly, Frida Kahlo faced immense physical pain from her injuries and surgeries, but channeled that suffering into creating some of the most powerful art the world has ever seen. She refused to be defined by her limitations, her fear, or the world's expectations. The system doesn't collapse when people fight back, it collapses when people stop being afraid. The moment you stop fearing them, they lose all control over you. Let that sink in. They hold power only because you allow it. Their threats, manipulation, and deception, all of it becomes powerless against a free mind. When you stop fearing rejection, their control over your social life disappears. When you stop fearing failure, their ability to keep you small vanishes. When you stop fearing judgment, their entire system of psychological manipulation crumbles. When you stop fearing them, they have nothing left. Fear is their only weapon. They don't have real strength. If they did, they wouldn't need to rely on deception, guilt, shame, and intimidation. But they do, because without fear, they are powerless. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10 reassures us. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So, what will you do? Will you keep letting them dictate your actions, your emotions, your destiny? Or will you finally see fear for what it really is, a prison made of illusions? The moment you decide to break free, you become the force they never wanted to face, fearless, unstoppable, untouchable. Number 8. Your rise means their fall. Have you ever wondered why the moment you started stepping into your full potential, opposition seemed to grow? Why do the same people who once supported you suddenly turn on you when you start living in your truth? Could it be that your rise doesn't just affect your life, but threatens the entire system they've built to control you? When the chosen one stands, the oppressors crumble. They didn't attack you because of who you were. They attacked you because of who you were becoming. From the very beginning, they saw something in you, something powerful, something rare, something they could never control, and that terrified them. Matthew chapter 5 verse 14 says, You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Your light disrupts their darkness, and they were desperate to keep you from realizing it. That's why they worked so hard to silence you, to drain you, to fill your life with distractions. It wasn't random, it was war. They were fighting to keep their power, and that meant keeping you weak, keeping you asleep, keeping you doubting your potential. Jesus faced relentless opposition because of his ability to see through the system's lies. Malcolm X was silenced before his voice could reach millions, yet his teachings still resonate today. Joan of Arc, despite being burned at the stake, became a symbol of courage that continues to inspire generations. But here's the shift. You woke up, and now everything changes. Your energy doesn't just affect you, it affects everything around you. Your presence alone disrupts their illusion, the way you see through deception, the way you expose lies, the way you refuse to comply with the system they built. It shakes their foundation to the core. Psalm chapter 82 verse 3 urges us, Defend the weak and the fatherless. Uphold the cause of the poor and oppressed. Think about it. Why do certain people suddenly turn on you the moment you step into your power? Why does the opposition increase when you start living in your truth? Why does the world push back so hard against those who wake up? Because your very existence threatens the entire structure they've built. Your rise means their fall. When you stand, their control weakens. When you speak, their lies are exposed. When you step forward, their power fades. Albert Einstein was attacked by the scientific community for his radical ideas. Yet his theories fundamentally changed our understanding of the universe. Mahatma Gandhi was imprisoned and faced constant pressure from the British Empire. But his steadfast commitment to nonviolence ultimately led to India's independence. They tried to silence these great minds, but their rise meant the fall of an unjust system. This isn't just personal. It's not about one person attacking you, one situation trying to break you. This is about an entire system that was never built for you to win. You weren't meant to be another follower, another pawn, another silent piece in their game. You were meant to break the system itself. And that is why they fear you, not because you are angry, not because you are strong, but because you cannot be controlled anymore. So now the question isn't whether you will rise. The question is, how many will rise with you? Because your awakening is not just your own, it's the beginning of something much, much bigger. Number 9. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to lead. Have you ever wondered why you've always felt different, even when you tried to blend in? Have you ever questioned why, no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't seem to fit the mold the world wanted you to? What if this feeling of disconnection wasn't a flaw, but a sign that you were built to lead, not follow? From the very beginning, they made you feel like an outsider. Maybe it was in your childhood, when you saw the world differently than others. Maybe it was in relationships, when people misunderstood your depth, your vision, your way of thinking. Or maybe it was in society itself, a world that expected you to conform, to follow, to accept the limitations placed in front of you. But here's what they never told you. Your isolation was never a punishment, it was preparation. Every moment you spent feeling alone, every season of rejection, every time you wondered why you were different, it was all shaping you into the leader you were meant to be. Think about it. Moses was sent into the wilderness for 40 years before leading his people to freedom. Jesus spent years being rejected before his message changed the world. Malcolm X spent years in prison before stepping into his full purpose. Nikola Tesla spent countless hours alone with his thoughts, unrecognized in his time, before revolutionizing the world with his inventions. All of them faced isolation, not as punishment, but as preparation for greatness. Why? Because leaders are not shaped in comfort, they are forged in solitude. What if this isolation you felt was not something to be ashamed of, but something that prepared you for something greater? What if it was meant to make you stronger, sharper, and more focused on the path you were meant to take? You weren't supposed to fit into their system because you weren't made for it. The world rejects what it cannot understand. It tries to break what it cannot control. And that's why they turned against you, not because you were wrong, but because you were different. And different terrifies them. But now you see the truth. You were never meant to seek validation, you were meant to lead. Stop looking for approval from those who were never meant to walk with you. Stop watering yourself down to be accepted by people who don't even know their own power. Stop apologizing for standing apart when you were always meant to stand above. Because the moment you step into your leadership, everything changes. The ones who doubted you will have no choice but to watch. The ones who rejected you will one day wish they had stood beside you. And the ones who once left, they will be the first to ask how you did it. But by then, it won't matter, because you will already be leading the way. Number 10. The time to rise is now. How much longer will you wait? How many more signs do you need? How many more times will you let fear, doubt, and hesitation keep you in the same cycle, knowing you were meant for more? What would happen if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment and decided to step into your purpose today? How many opportunities have you missed? And how many chances to make an impact have passed because you were waiting for permission or validation? They spent years slowing you down, filling your life with distractions, surrounding you with energy-draining people, making you second-guess yourself at every step. But here's the truth. It was never a coincidence. It was never just bad timing. It was deliberate. They knew that the longer you hesitated, the longer they could keep you from stepping into your power. But now, that time is over. Your rise is not coming. It's already here. There's no more waiting for the perfect moment. No more waiting to feel ready. No more hoping for someone to give you permission. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you your power. Because the chosen ones don't wait, they move. What if the time for waiting is already over? What if you have everything you need right now to step into your destiny? The system that was built to hold you back is already collapsing. They see it happening. That's why the attacks are getting stronger. That's why the distractions are more intense. That's why you've been feeling an urgency, an undeniable pull inside you, because your time is now. Think about all the years they've stolen from you. Think about the moments you stayed silent when you should have spoken. The opportunities you passed on because you didn't feel good enough. The times you shrank yourself to make others comfortable. Beyoncé faced incredible pressure to fit into the mold of what others expected. But she found her voice and now stands as one of the most influential women in the world. Elon Musk faced skepticism and ridicule for his ideas of electric cars, rockets, and alternative energy, but he refused to wait for approval and has now reshaped industries. If you've made it this far, if you're hearing this message, then you already know. The question is, will you act? Because they fear what happens next. They fear a chosen one who is no longer afraid. They fear what happens when you stop doubting yourself. They fear the moment you finally step forward, without hesitation, without fear, without holding back. That ends today. No more doubts, no more hesitation, no more waiting for a moment that has already arrived. Because you are already who you were meant to be. You don't need more validation, more proof, more preparation. Everything you need is already inside of you. You just have to decide. The enemy sees it, they feel it, they know they have no time left. Because once the chosen ones rise, nothing can stop it. So, what will you do? Keep waiting, or finally step into the power that was always yours? Because the time isn't tomorrow. It isn't next week. It isn't one day. The time is now. And there is no going back. Number 11. They will try to pull you back. Stay ready. Have you ever noticed how, just when you're beginning to rise and step into your power, people who once ignored, mocked, or even rejected you suddenly want back in? Why do you think they return when they see you starting to shine? When you are stepping into your true purpose, when they see you rising, they will come back, pretending to be allies. At first, they'll come with fake apologies. They'll say they see you differently now, that they were wrong about you, and that they finally understand your worth. They'll act like they've had a sudden realization, like they've changed. But here's the truth. They have not changed. They are not here to support you. They're here to stop you. Proverbs chapter 26 verse 11 warns us. Asterisk. As a dog returns to its vomit, so fools repeat their folly. They are coming back, not out of genuine remorse, but because they can feel the shift in your energy. They can sense that you are no longer accessible to them, and that terrifies them. Where were they when you were struggling? Where were they when you were at your lowest, doubting yourself? Searching for answers? They weren't there. And now, just as you begin to rise, just as you're stepping into the person you were always meant to be, they suddenly want back in. It's not a coincidence, it's a trap. Think about Rosa Parks, who stood up for justice, refusing to give up her seat when the system tried to suppress her. Steve Jobs was ousted from the very company he founded, but he returned and transformed the world of technology forever. Why did these people return when they were rejected? Because they were unshakable in their purpose, and so are you. The moment you break free, the moment you cut ties with the cycle of manipulation, doubt, and self-sabotage, they panic. They see you rising, And they know that if they don't stop you now, they never will. So they come back with a smile, acting like they have good intentions. They pretend to support you, to be proud of you, but it's all a game. They'll come as friends, lovers, or long-lost allies, but their goal is the same: to pull you back into the old cycle, to keep you distracted, doubting, second-guessing yourself. They'll plant just enough hesitation in your mind to stop you from fully stepping into your power. And if you let them back in, they will destroy everything you've built. What if, instead of letting them back in, you close that door for good? Matthew chapter 7 verse 6 reminds us, asterisk, do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. You see, the old version of you was easy for them to control, the version that needed validation, that wanted approval, that was willing to dim your light to keep others comfortable. That was the version they thrived on. But this new you, the one who is breaking free, seeing through the illusions, refusing to be manipulated, that version is a threat, and they can't allow that. So they will test you. They will push you. They will try to lure you back into the past. But here's the truth. The old cycle is over. You cannot return to what you've outgrown. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17 affirms, asterisk, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here. If someone walked away from you when you were struggling, they do not deserve to stand next to you now that you are rising. If someone doubted you when you were lost, they do not get to benefit from your clarity. If someone mocked you when you were questioning yourself, they do not get to celebrate you now that you've found your strength. This is the test. Will you let them back in? Will you allow yourself to be pulled back into their web of lies, manipulation, and emotional traps? Or will you finally close the door for good and keep moving forward? You don't owe them anything, not an explanation, not a conversation, nothing. The old cycle is done. The past is over, and the only direction left for you to go is forward. Number 12. Final message. Have you ever wondered why they tried so hard to silence you? To make you feel small? To convince you that you were nothing? Why did they work tirelessly to erase your name, your spirit, your very fire? What if everything they did was to prevent something greater, the rise of the storm they feared? The truth is, you are the storm they feared. They wanted to erase you, but instead, you became the force that will erase them. Isaiah chapter 59 verse 19 tells us, asterisk, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. They thought they could contain you. They thought they could control you. They thought they could keep you locked in a cycle of fear, doubt, and hesitation. But what they never realized is that every attack, every setback, and every battle only made you stronger. You didn't just survive their war. You became the weapon they never saw coming. This is your moment. Own it. No more waiting. No more second-guessing. No more seeking permission from a world that was never meant to define you. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to shake the foundation of everything they built. Think about Walt Disney, who was told his ideas lacked imagination, that he would never succeed, yet he went on to create one of the largest entertainment empires in the world. Sylvester Stallone was rejected over and over, but he believed in himself and created the iconic Rocky series, changing Hollywood forever. Why did these individuals succeed despite the odds? Because they knew their purpose was greater than the rejection, and so do you. Romans chapter 8 verse 31 reminds us, asterisk, if God is for us, who can be against us? They wanted you lost, confused, and powerless, but instead, you became the storm. Think about it. If you were never a threat, why did they work so hard to stop you? Why did they put obstacles in your path at every turn? Why did they make sure you were surrounded by the wrong people, fed you the wrong messages, and kept you in endless cycles of pain and confusion? Because they knew They knew that if you ever stepped fully into your power, the system they built would crumble. Why did they fear your rise? Could it be because they saw the potential in you that even you hadn't realized yet? 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 says, Asterisk, for God gave us a spirit not of fear but of power and love and self-control. They knew that if you ever realized who you were, nothing could stop you. The moment you stopped hesitating, stopped apologizing, stopped shrinking yourself to make others comfortable, it was over for them. So, what are you waiting for? You don't need more time. You don't need more signs. This is the sign. This is the moment where you stop doubting. Stop delaying. Stop playing small, because you were never small. They just wanted you to believe you were. But now you see it. You see the truth. You see the lies. You see the game they've been playing for centuries, keeping the chosen ones blind, weak, and afraid to step into their full power. But the game is over. They thought they could break you, but you turned the pain into power. They thought they could silence you, but your voice became the thunder before the storm. They thought they could control you, but now they are the ones running scared, because you are the storm they feared. You are not here to be a follower. You are not here to obey their rules. You are here to disrupt, to awaken, to destroy everything built on deception. John chapter 14 verse 12 says, Asterisk, very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these. No more seeking permission, no more waiting for approval. The time for playing small is gone, because now you move differently. Now you walk with power. Now you speak with certainty. Now you know exactly who you were and exactly what you came here to do, and they can't stop it. It's too late for them. The cracks in their system are already showing. The energy is shifting. The chosen ones are rising. And the ones who thought they could control the narrative, they are watching it slip through their fingers. They wanted to erase you. Instead, you became the force that will erase them. So step forward. Own your power. Let them watch as everything they feared becomes reality. Because this is your time. And the world will never be the same again. Beloved chosen one, now it all comes down to this, the moment they never wanted to happen. You've seen through the illusion, broken their chains, and stepped into the power they tried to keep from you. This is your rise and their fall. They thought they had time. They thought they could stop you. But they were wrong. The storm has arrived, and it's you. You are the force that will disrupt everything they built. You are the one they underestimated. And now they must face the truth. No longer will you shrink to fit in. No longer will you hesitate to step into your greatness. You are unstoppable, unshakable, and you are here to lead. I want to take a moment to thank you, dear one, for being here and absorbing these words. Whether you choose to donate or not, your presence, your energy, and your willingness to rise with us mean more than I can express. If you feel moved by this message and would like to support this work, please consider donating through Super Thanks. It helps us continue to create content that inspires, empowers, and uplifts. But please know your support, whether financial or simply your time and energy, is deeply appreciated. And I am truly grateful for you. As you step forward into your purpose, I wish nothing less than blessings to flow abundantly into your life. May you walk confidently, knowing you are chosen. May your steps be guided by light, and may your heart be filled with peace as you rise to your full potential. Remember, the storm is here, and it's you. You are the change this world has been waiting for. Blessings to you, beloved chosen one. Keep rising, keep shining. The world will never be the same again.